This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
A possible homicide on the southeast side just 2 days after a shooting sent 2 people to the hospital. Police find a man dead just a few blocks from that scene. That story is breaking this midday. It all started around 9:30 this morning when Metro Police say they got a call about a man on the ground. Officers responded to the corner of Olive and Orange Streets where they found that man's body. As of now, police have not said how the man died, only that homicide detectives are leading that investigation. They say if you have any information that might help, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. That death comes just days after a double shooting just blocks from that crime scene that police say started as a case of domestic violence. Officers found a man and a woman with gunshot wounds at a home on Orange Street and South Randolph Street Saturday night. The man was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The woman's injuries were not life-threatening. So far, no charges have been filed in that case. Metro Police say there appears to be no connection between this shooting and the person found dead today. In Johnson County, we're still working to find out more about a man arrested after firing shots at officers in Bargersville. Around 10 o'clock last night, police say they were called to a domestic dispute at the Clary Crossing Apartments, that's near State Road 135 and Stones Crossing Road. An officer says gunshots were fired at him by a man just as the officer arrived at the scene. Police say the man then threw the gun on the ground and he was eventually taken into custody. No one was hurt, and police have not yet released the name of that suspect. Of course, gun violence has been a major topic here in Indianapolis all year long, especially last week with the murders of 4 people at a Northeast Side apartment complex. This past weekend, the city's young people had a chance to have their say. True Dialogue Part 4 was a forum led by teens from across the city, including those with close connections to last week's gunfire. One young man told us he recently turned his life around after a brush with violence, and he hopes forums like this one will help lead adults to listen more closely to young people.
Pull kids out the streets, really get under their skin, talk to them. If we take them in, if they feel like they ain't got nobody, show them a different way. Take them places, let them see different stuff. You know, the streets is not it.
IMPD Chief Randall Taylor was among the adults showing up at the weekend forum to hear directly from those young people. The organizers of True Dialogue say they plan to continue the series as long as they need to. Taking a turn now and checking in on the weather. We started our morning off with a lot of rain. Now we're taking a break from it, but it is set to return later, Todd.
You know, we still have that damp and dreary feel out there. And if you haven't been outside since the morning, yes, we've gotten rid of the rain falling from the clouds, but it still just feels kind of damp and chilly. Storm Team 6 radar is nice and quiet. That is the good news. Going forward in this forecast, we don't have anything more than just a sprinkle or two remaining around central Indiana. And the best chance of seeing that would be to the south and east of Indianapolis. What I'm hopeful for today is actually the clouds to clear out a little bit here in northern locations and maybe have a few peaks of sunshine. If we did get some sunshine in here, it would be maybe a quick peak here and there, and that would be just about it as this storm system continues to push off towards the east coast. Temperatures outside right now are in the 30s now anywhere you go. We started off this morning with some of you in the 50s, but now that cold front is fully pushed through the area, we're at 35 in Indy, 38 in Bloomington, 34 from Tipton up towards Peru. And these temperatures will not move much at all throughout the remainder of the day. They may go up another degree or two to 37, 38, and that is just about it with lots of clouds around. If you're heading to the Pacers game or anything this evening, you just need to bundle up. No threat of rain. It does return to the forecast, though, by midweek. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. If Pete Buttigieg wants to win the New Hampshire primary tomorrow, the former South Bend mayor may have to come from behind to do so. Polls show Buttigieg trailing Senator Bernie Sanders as voters get ready to make their decision. ABC's Trevor Ault tells us both Democratic candidates are looking for a bounce after their virtual tie in Iowa last week.
The nation's first primary less than 24 hours away. Candidates have packed their schedules and sharpened their attacks.
Now I'm running against some guys, Pete Buttigieg among others, who have raised campaign funds from over 40 billionaires. 40 billionaires.
Senator Bernie Sanders still sits atop the polls, but Mayor Pete Buttigieg is surging behind him.
I respect
Senator Sanders. But when I hear this message go out that you're either for a revolution or you got to be for the status quo.
Buttigieg also now in the crosshairs of a slipping former Vice President Joe Biden.
He's a smart guy, but he's been the mayor of a city smaller than the city we're in now. And so what has he done? Who has he pulled together?
But the vice president may be also bleeding supporters to a different moderate. Senator Amy Klobuchar riding a strong debate performance, now seeing her biggest crowds yet.
We have had this incredible journey over the last few days in New Hampshire. Of course, starting with the debate, which went pretty well.
And Senator Elizabeth Warren needing a strong showing here in New Hampshire, touting $2 million in fundraising she's received since Iowa.
And as the Democratic candidates finish up their events in New Hampshire, their future opponent is in town tonight, too. President Trump expected to fill up an arena for a rally. Some of his supporters have been camping out since yesterday morning. Trevor Ault, ABC News, Manchester, New Hampshire.
Coronavirus is still spreading, but even if you are not impacted by that virus, criminals are using it to try to steal your personal information. Coming up, how you can protect yourself from those scammers. And they're coming back to central Indiana because they want it that way. Ahead, where you'll be able to see the boys if you missed them last time they were in town. Todd.
As you walk out the door here this afternoon, finally we're dealing with some dry conditions across the area. You can tuck that umbrella away briefly because overall it's an active week of weather. We'll time out our next storm system coming up for you in our Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
All new Bachelor tonight on ABC.
Time now for an RTV6 Consumer Alert. Joining me in studio today is Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau. Tim, we know the coronavirus, it's a big topic of discussion around the world right now, and there are some scams with this that people need to watch out for.
Yeah, the scammers never miss a chance to try and get in there, do they? Well, there are actually some things that are going on, like you said, around the world. There's actually some things going on in China and Australia that are scams that we think might have a chance of coming here, particularly if some more people do contact the virus. What they'll do is they'll offer you a lot of things like survival kits, masks, things like vaccinations that, you know, there's not a vaccination for this. So just be wary of those types of solicitations that you get. Just don't open any emails from unknown sources, unsolicited emails, that type of thing, particularly if they say, you know, we can do all this stuff for you to protect you against the coronavirus. Vaccinations. As far as I understand, there's not a vaccination for this particular outbreak. So if someone offers you that, hey, they're just trying to get your money. And then also, a lot of these will try and download things onto your computer. Some of these emails are going to just try to get you to click because it's interesting. You want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So just make certain you update your antivirus and your malware protections on your computer, because once again, these people will take any opportunity they can to either try and get your money, steal your identity, get into your computer.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. This has been an RTV6 Consumer Alert.
Lauren, thank you. You must remember this. It is one of the most romantic movies of all time, and for your Valentine this weekend, it's paired up with a live performance of its gorgeous music. More on that coming up. But first, we're taking a live look outside. Dreary Monday out there. Meteorologist Todd Clausen's going to let us know what else we have in store for this week. Coming up, you're watching the news at noon on RTV6.
800-850-5054.
This weekend, we lost two entertainment greats, each leaving their own distinctive mark on Hollywood.
How's about a few laughs? I can show you a good time.
Paula Kelly's career began in dance, but she soon became one of Hollywood's most talented triple threats. Paula could do it all on the Broadway stage. She could do it all on film, comedy, or drama. On television, she got an Emmy nomination for her role on Night Court, though her role lasted just one season. Broadway World was the first to report the death of Paula Kelly on Sunday. She was 76 years old. Robert Conrad just looked like a TV star. He, of course, is known for shows like The Wild Wild West, Bob Bob Black Sheep, and for some reason, daring us to knock an ever-ready battery off his shoulder.
I dare you to knock this off.
But what you may not have known is Robert Conrad was also a central figure in one of the greatest TV and sports controversies of the 1970s.
The Battle of the Network Stars.
1976. Beautiful Malibu, California. The very first battle of the network stars, celebrities pretending to exhibit athletic ability. The relay race, tainted in controversy. Long story short, Robert Conrad was the captain of the NBC team that lost to ABC because of a penalty. Robert Conrad took the Battle of the Network Stars way, way too seriously. He nearly lost his mind.
We ran a damn good race.
You're right, you did, but you would have finished second had Ben...
Like hell.
Conrad proposed a solution. He would run a 100-yard dash against ABC captain Gabe Kaplan. Winner take all. Robert Conrad lost.
Best captain won. That's the way I like it.
To be sure, Robert Conrad would go on to captain 3 Battle of the Network Stars champions in his illustrious career. He also was the quintessential 1970s TV leading man, if there ever was one. Robert Conrad died Saturday at his home in Malibu. He was 84. Working for you, Ray Steele, RTV6.
We're playing games with my heart.
The Backstreet Boys are coming back to play some more games with your heart. Today, the boys announced they're coming back to Central Indiana. This time, they'll be at Ruoff Music Center as part of their continuation of their tour that actually brought them to Indianapolis last year. Tickets go on sale this Friday, Valentine's Day. It makes the perfect gift. Now, Todd, I know what you're thinking, that I'm going to be front row. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I was an NSYNC girl.
All right.
Through and through back in the day.
You talked to the wrong person because I was neither.
You were more New Kids on the Block era, right?
I was more Bruce Springsteen.
Okay. All right. Well,
little before.
All right. Well, we're talking boy bands.
I know.
So
I know what you're talking about.
All right.
I'm hip on my boy bands.
All right.
I just don't listen to them.
Well, the Weather Boy Band here, not a good performance.
Hey, it's been a rough go of it since those 2 record high temperatures last week. Since then, it's been all across the board with rain, with snow, with sleet. And this morning, we had rain across the area. The good news to report is we are dealing with quiet conditions now across the area. It still feels really damp out there, and it's dreary. We don't have a whole lot going on. There's a few hit or miss sprinkles you have to look really close for on Storm Team 6 radar here in southern locations. That's just about it as far as the rain goes. There'll be the chance of a sprinkle or 2 this afternoon in those southern and eastern locations. Other than that, we're just going to have the clouds in place across the area. So you really don't have to worry about having the umbrella handy for the remainder of the day. That's the good news as all this rain starts to make its way off towards the east and back off to the west. You do notice the clouds starting to clear out just a little bit in the Chicago area. I'm hopeful for a few peaks of sunshine later on this afternoon here in northwestern locations and maybe even in the metro area. It's definitely not a guarantee. If you do see a little peak of sunshine here or there, consider yourself lucky. And what is a very overall active weather pattern, this rain is all going to slide off towards the east. The next storm system already, though, starting to gather strength here in Texas. And this is what's going to be heading in our direction. Not so much tomorrow, but it'll arrive here during the day on Wednesday. The view from IMS back towards downtown, you look really close here and you can see the city skyline, but that is all just the moisture that we have out there. One of the things we'll have to keep an eye on tonight, especially if the clouds can break a little bit, is going to be some patchy fog that is going to develop. There's just a tremendous amount of moisture in the ground. It's completely saturated from all the rain that we saw. The winds out of the northeast at 10 miles per hour, 35, so at least we're still above freezing right now in the city, and really everybody's above freezing. 37 in Columbus, 34 in Lafayette, the one location that's not has Crawfordsville at 31. Our temperatures hold steady, maybe go up another degree or two this afternoon, and that is just about it for your afternoon high. If you're looking for something to do this evening, the Nets are in town to take on the Pacers. Temperatures in the mid-30s as you walk in and as you walk out. The temperatures are not going to really drop off much at all throughout the evening hours. And then tomorrow morning, there could be an isolated slick spot as the temperatures get down to right around freezing, so be aware of that. It will be for what's on the ground already. Nothing additional coming down from the clouds. Tomorrow we get up to right around 40 degrees for your high temperature, and then Wednesday's the day we'll target. Once again, we'll be right on the borderline of snow to the north, rain down to the south. If you're in the snow, at this point, it looks like we could pick up maybe an inch of snow as the system moves through, but we'll fine-tune that as we get a little bit closer. Valentine's Day going to be a cold one, but a sunny one. A low of 10 in the morning, a high of only 26 in the afternoon. The good news is it's a quick shot of cold air. Meredith, temperatures back into the 40s for the weekend.
Now. He's looking at you, kid.
Does it get any more romantic than Casablanca? This Valentine's Day, you and your special someone have a chance to see one of the greatest films ever made, and the music that accompanies the film will be live right in front of you. The Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra is back with its Bank of America film series, and this Saturday and Friday and Saturday, the orchestra will perform Casablanca's magnificent score live to the film. Kristen Cutler with the ISO joining me now to tell us more. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So what a way to spend Valentine's Day.
Right?
Let's talk a little bit about this series for anyone who maybe hasn't ever experienced it.
Right. So Bank of America film series, we take a lot of the famous movies that you know and love. Yes. Maybe you grew up with them. Maybe they're newer. Maybe they're a classic like Casablanca. And then we have the ISO playing the score to that movie live on stage while the film is playing on our giant screen above. So it is a remarkable experience. If you've never seen it, it is so much fun.
And this is a great movie to check out because maybe it is something that you've watched for decades and decades with your spouse of 30, 40, 50 years. Or maybe you're going on a second or third date and this would be something very romantic to go and do.
Exactly. Maybe, you know, that first date conversation, you realize somebody has never seen Casablanca. Well, this is the way to do it. Or if you've been watching the movie your entire life. It's just so different to see the movie with the music being played live by the orchestra. And we've got, you know, popcorn, candy, all of the good stuff. So the Hilbert Circle Theater was originally a movie house. So it kind of takes us back to our roots of the theater.
Very fun. Now, oftentimes when you come to visit, we talk about this type of experience being fun for the whole family. Probably not this one for the whole family, but you've got a few coming up that the kids will be very excited for.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, if for some reason your tiny ones aren't classic movie buffs, we've got some others coming up. So we have first weekend of May, we'll be doing the original Mary Poppins.
Fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you just can't get better than that. That score is amazing. And then in June, we'll be doing Star Wars The Force Awakens. So if the action is your thing, we got that covered. And then we're hitting Disney again in July with the animated Beauty and the Beast.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, Kristen, thank you so much for coming to visit. All that info at the bottom of your screen right now if you're looking for a fun date night. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Down on the farm.
If you're of a certain age, you probably learned about the 3 branches of government from Schoolhouse Rock during ABC's Saturday morning shows. But in this election year, a Midwest rapper is putting his own spin on teaching how the government is broken down. He hopes it will spark his generation to vote.
We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress...
Yellow Pain, where were you when I was in high school in my government class? Rapper Yellow Pain, native of Dayton, Ohio. He says he wrote the song My Vote Don't Count because he wanted to help inform people of information he says they weren't taught in school. He says we stand in long lines for sandwiches and shoes, but not voting. You can see that entire song right now at theindychannel.com. And Todd, I'm hoping we see a little something come from the sky that is the same color as his hair later today.
Not in our near future, put it that way, with lots of clouds around today and tomorrow.
All right, Todd, thanks, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 5.